Hi guys, so here I am in Sydney Observatory, about to do a weaving class, teaching people. It's kind of, I think 6 p.m. at night. I don't know if you can see, let me show you over there. Can you see the tips of the Sydney Opera House just there? Anyway, let's get going.
This is the Anzac Bridge with a span of 345 metres. It is the longest cable-stayed bridge in Australia. In 1998, it officially became known as Anzac Bridge as a memorial to members from both sides of the Tasman who formed the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps known as the Anzacs. So I'm walking up to one of my whanaunga, my relations. Him and his partner, they do hangi works. So if you're in Sydney and you're looking for hangi, give them a call. Hangi Works, in-ground cooking. Some nice kai from home. Look on Facebook and you'll find Hangi Works and their page. And I'm sure the cousin Mark has got his phone number and details there for you to connect with them and put in an order to Hangi Works. Anyway, we have a telescope looking up, prepared and looking up to the sky for Matariki or Pleiades. Here we go. My eyes are taken with one thing. Green gold, New Zealand flags, harakeke, beautiful. Scanning the buildings at some of the cornices. So cornices, they're very lovely. This is such a beautiful space and it's such a blessing to be there.
I've had to mute my video because there's beautiful Māori music from New Zealand. Oh, it's gorgeous music. And I don't want a copyright strike, so it's easier to just mute it. This observatory sits on the highest natural point in Sydney Cove. Now we're coming into a room where my daughter, sitting on the floor in the red pants, and her friend Nicole are preparing our workshop. I'm actually really blessed to have Courtney join me on most of the workshops I do. Other times it's one of her brothers, or her sister-in-law to be. So they're all such blessings. Thanks guys, I appreciate you very much. It's Trey, MC Trey. If you're in Sydney, look her up, look her music up. She's another fantastic woman. So blessed to have these people in my life. Now I have had to mute because there was some beautiful Māori music that was playing and it was just stunning with the buildings and the environment that was there. Passing people as I walk around and just saying hello, but it was that music. I don't want any copyright strikes from YouTube, so it's easier to just mute the music and do a talk over. I'm just showing you the spaces where people gather, where there will be performances. And I'm heading over to show you the view of the Anzac Bridge. So last year when I came and I did a weaving workshop, down around here there was an exhibition, but I'm just poking my nose around there and see that there's nothing set up for that space. It looked so fantastic last year. Look at that sunset, isn't that gorgeous? So people sitting there watching the sunset and waiting for the event to start. I love how they set out a lot of seats. There's Anzac Bridge in the distance, and this tall cylindrical building is actually the Crown Sydney building. It's a luxury hotel. Barangaroo. Looks pretty stunning, doesn't it? And it was designed by an architect named Wilkinson Eyre. Pretty stunning views. So Sydney Observatory is just gorgeous. Just checking out how many people are there. And also the seating arrangements that are everywhere. Just love the different spaces that are going on here. Gorgeous. And that there in the distance, just over there, that big thing, Sydney Harbour Bridge. So the Sydney Harbour Bridge was conceived to connect Sydney's northern and southern shores, and construction for this bridge began in 1923, and the bridge officially opened to traffic in 1932. That's a fair amount of time. Actually, I'm really gutted that I can't play the clip because the environment, the sounds, the people, the conversations, the views, the ambience is so wonderful. Isn't it a gorgeous place to have this observatory with all these icons? There's the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You saw the peaks of the Sydney Opera House. There was Anzac Bridge. And then that Crown Tower. Pretty epic. Just heading back. Just look at that palm tree. Isn't it gorgeous? Just this whole space. The city surrounding it. It's nestled and tucked very strategically and beautifully behind all those big buildings. I think I like the buildings of yesteryear as opposed to today. There we go again, looking at the flex. So it's a very lovely, lovely space. It's just, you can see how lovely it is. My camera works a bit how you going, but we're heading back inside and we're just poking our head around the corner, seeing what's going on down there. This is a video on a young Māori woman speaking about what her family used to do to celebrate Matariki. Sitting tucked away in the corner here is Danita having a kōrero to somebody. Now we're about to head back in to start weaving stars. We did this last year with ribbon and we're doing the same this year. Time to head back in now to start our first workshop, which is star weaving. This is the star weaving workshop we're doing tonight. We have a lot of people. It's been non-stop. I haven't even had a meal. There's my daughter sitting there in the black shirt and the red pants. We start with a really nice tidy setup and it ends up in chaos. I love weaving. Here we have a completed star. Well done. Yep, that's us. And you can cut this piece off here. So we are moving into the next workshop, which is a couple of days later, and I am showing about 35 ladies. We're working on manu tukutuku, which is the Māori kite, and it means manu means both kite and bird, and the word tukutuku refers to the winding out of the line as the kite ascends. Kites were flown for recreation, but they also had other purposes. They were used for divination, to gauge whether an attack on an enemy stronghold would be successful, or to locate wrongdoers. It was also a mean of communication. It is said that the ancestor of Ngāti Porou, Poraurangi, died in Whangara on the east coast. A kite was flown and his brother, Tahu, the founding ancestor of Ngai Tahu, was able to see it from the South Island. That kite was flying high. Sometimes people would release a kite and follow it, claiming and occupying the place where it landed. How's that? Fly a kite, watch it, follow it. It falls on the ground. I'm taking all this. This is my land and I'm living there. Anyway, that's a bit of a how you going. So kites were also flown to celebrate the start of the Māori New Year, when Matariki appeared in the mid-winter night sky. So I'm showing the ladies how to construct these kites. That's my template down there. That's got 4 sticks, the triangle shape and one that goes from the bottom to the midpoint, just for structural integrity, and also it just changes the look of it. The resources I'm using in this is bandana strips, you have bamboo sticks, we've got some wool, and we've also got some little bits to hang off, such as feathers, some woven fish, some woven stars. So the frames of larger kites were usually made from lengths of manuka or tea tree and split lengths of kareao, supplejack. Smaller children's kites were made from the stems of toitoi, kakaka, which is a bracken, and various types of rush. The coverings of the larger kites were fashioned from bark cloth made from ote until the plant became virtually extinct. Then they used raupo, which is bulrush leaves, or the leaves of upoko, tangata, cutty grass. Jeez, I hate that stuff. Anyway, so that was used. The flying lines were known as aho tukutuku, and they were made from a fine twisted cord made from the muka, the fibre of the flax leaf. Isn't that really interesting? Now these kites were decorated with feathers, shells, carved faces, coloured patterns drawn with black or red pigments from charcoal or clay and mixed with shark oil. Some kites featured long feather tails known as puhihi attached to the lower end or wingtips. Others were decorated with horns, and some had shells inside, like a hollow mask that rattled during flight. Some kites had a ring called a karere, messenger, made of toitoi leaves or wood, which was blown up by the wind towards the kite. Really interesting stuff. This was actually a lovely workshop with these ladies. Some moved quickly, but you know, we all move at a pace that suits us. Some do pick up things very quickly and some of us don't. I know sometimes it takes me a few times before my head engages with what my hands need to do, so I learn differently. So today I met with Neda and Daisy from Powerhouse Youth Theatre, Fairfield, and they're the only professional theatre company in Western Sydney, and they're focused on the development and engagement of local young and emerging artists as core practice. They have a reputation as a brave and transformative theatre company who make urgent work that explores critical issues of our times. So the Powerhouse Youth Theatre, Fairfield, it's a company for young people aged 14 to 26 years. And they champion the diversity and young people developing the next generation of artists from Western Sydney. So it was really wonderful to meet Daisy and Neda. Now my cameraman today is my son Tairongo, and I'm blessed to have him and his fiancée Lisa with me. Lisa worked with my daughter Courtney and I for the opening of Castle Hill Powerhouse. That was a big one, and there was a couple of days we were working there. So I'm blessed to have her. I'm blessed to have my son Kenton. I'm blessed to have Tairongo and my daughter Courtney come work with me for these different workshops. So we just work away, giving examples, sitting down, hands-on, showing people, talking to people, and that's kind of how I work, just hands-on and with people. That you can take simple resources and turn them into something wonderful, something constructive. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Mā te wā. Until next time.